Hey friends, what's going on? Katie Day down here in Houston, Texas with my good buddy Stephen Kim Holmes out of Toronto. I am so very excited to welcome our guest to this week's episode of Real Advice, Mr. Jeff Mays. For those of you that don't know Jeff Mays, he's a Richmond, Virginia native. He's the broker owner of Coachable Banker Prime, and in that role, he coaches, trains, and motivates his agents to achieve their very best. Yes. He's also a coach, trainer, and speaker for the Tom Ferry International Coaching Program, the #1 coaching and training company in the real estate field. He's well known for teaching proven methods and strategies for increasing sales and listings and helping agents to grow their business to dominate in their local markets, as well as help agents to operationalize and grow their teams. I have been so fortunate to coach directly with Jeff for over a year, and he has been quoted as saying it's the best year of his life.
I want to write that introduction down. That was pretty. I got to live up to that introduction now, Katie. All right, put a lot of pressure on me. I don't think I'm that great, but I'm just like you all. I've just been around 30 years. That's the only difference.
I love it. I love it.
Anyways, join me in welcoming Jeff Mays. What's going on, Jeff? How are you?
How's it going? Hey, I am so honored to be here with the two of y'all. I've got questions for y'all, but I know you got a few questions for me, so we'll start there. How about that?
I'm excited to put you in the hot seat, and I am a little worried that as this goes on, suddenly it's going to turn into a coaching session.
I'm going to be writing down notes. Right.
You're like, well, did you make your calls? How many contracts have we put in this week?
Right. Where are we today? Right, that kind of thing.
Yeah. What are our goals for next week? Yeah. So I'm going to really try to keep me in the driver's seat, but we'll see how it goes as this goes on. Steve, do you want to?
Before we start, though, Super Coach, I got to let you know, and I've told you this, but I got to share this with everyone who watches and listens. I did not know about the Tom Ferry organization. Sorry, Tom. I didn't even know who he was until you had hosted a free 1-hour in-person conference in Vaughan, just outside of Toronto.
I totally remember that.
A few years back, and I was like, legit coach, blown away. You were so well-spoken. You had laid it down. You had laid it down so in such a simple way, yet such a manageable way that I could really understand real estate for the first time. And it was at that point, Tom Ferry, heard the name, then I started doing my Google research and everything. So thank you, Super Coach, for introducing me to the Tom Ferry organization.
And look where we are now, right, Steve?
Yeah, right. So pretty wild. So thank you, Super Coach, for that. So just wanted to share that with everyone.
I remember that event in Vaughan. I was like, "Where's Vaughan?" It's not that far out of Toronto.
Where am I flying? Where am I going?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So it's super honored to have you here, Coach.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you took the hurdle and ran, or debate and took it, right? Gotcha.
So, Coach, let's start for the select few who don't know who you are, who Jeff Mays is. Talk to us a little bit about, before you even got into the real estate arena. Who is Jeff Mays before real estate?
Well, it started back when I was 7 years old. We're going way back. No, honestly, I feel like I'm just like everybody else. Many of y'all, my family was in real estate, so you know what that means. That means I'm going to get in real estate. I went to college, but I knew what I was going to do. I got to be honest, I've never had an interview in my life. Okay.
Wow.
I went to college. I took a lot of real estate classes. I actually got my license while I was still in college, and I graduated on Saturday, Katie, and Monday morning I was making calls. I was 19 years old. I had my license, and I was already in the business 2 days later. So I can't say there's this big lead up or this incredible story. I just knew where I was going. But I will tell you this, Stephen, a very similar story. I was very fortunate in my first year. We've all been to seminar. You ever been to a seminar? And most people, real estate agents, I know y'all, we have fun. We go out, drink a little bit, have fun, connect. We're not doing that right now, but back in the day, and hopefully soon we'll be doing that again. But I was at the back of this seminar, and there's probably 1,000 people there. And I mean, I just feel Terrible. I'm a little hungover. I'm at the back of the room. Yeah, you ever go into a seminar and you're like, oh my God, it's 9:05. I've got to be here till 5 o'clock.
Day 4 summit.
Right. I'm in the exactly. I'm at the back of the room, and Bill Pipes comes out and he starts giving me some scripts, and I'm like, oh, this is good stuff. Like, if I learn this and start saying this is good. And then all of a sudden, Tom Ferry comes back. He comes out. Now, remember, this was like 1992 or 93, and I immediately perked up. I was fired up. I was like, this is my tribe. I like what they're saying. I like what they're doing. I went to the back of the room and signed up for coaching almost immediately.
Wow.
And I think I had like 3 credit cards. I was like, do you take, let's see if this runs through. Do you take Diners Club? I'm like, so it finally, it ran through, and I got to tell you, that's where I started. And like you and Katie, and this is not a call about coaching at all. It just changed my world at that point, because I was like, this is my tribe. I get what they're saying. This is where I want to go to. And that's kind of my story.
Wow. Okay. All right. Love that. Can we ask, Coach, how long were you a client before you kind of took the plunge into coaching?
All right. So this is a good story too. The first year I was in real estate, I sold like 24 houses, and I thought I was hot shit. I thought, yeah, this is going to be great. And then the second year, I did like 12 deals. I did 24 deals. I probably sold all my friends and family houses the first year. And the second year, I was living like I was making 200,000, and I only made 100. You know that feeling? You spend more. We're living off the gross, not the net. And the third year, and this was a big change, and it really had an effect on me. I joined a big team in our office, and between coaching and seeing somebody run a team like a business, his name was Rick Brown, and so much credit to him in the beginning of my career, because I learned how to do it right, how to care customer, run it like a business. And I worked for him for a couple years. That was the best experience of my life. I learned so much. And then I just really took those ideas, created habits and disciplines, and just moved forward from that point.
Wow. That's amazing. And so, Coach, share with people, how long have you been a coach with the Tom Ferry organization?
I've been a coach with Tom for over 5 years, but I've been a trainer, manager, owner of a company for like 15 years. And this is second nature to me. I love realtors. I love real estate. I love all things in our business. And my girlfriend, Kate, probably thinks I'm nuts, because I could talk to agents all day long. I love it. It's fun. It's exciting. Hey guys, we got to realize something. We're not selling life insurance, okay? Imagine if you're a life insurance salesman and you go to a party, everybody's like, oh, let's get away from him. They're going to try to sell life insurance, you know?
Yeah.
When it comes to real estate, it affects everybody, even somebody that's renting, somebody that owns. It's always a good conversation starter to some degree. One of my clients in the Hamptons, Mala Sanders, says, real estate is great gossip. Real estate is great gossip. And think about, the idea is like, everybody wants to know where they're going, what they're doing, who moved here, who bought that. And just, it's a good conversation starter. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Are you harder on your coaching clients, Coach, or the people within the brokerage? What would you say?
I'm harder on my coaching clients, honestly. Okay. Yeah.
Good to know.
My agents, I've got about 20 agents, and they say I get wall coaching, and they kept saying that. I was like, what is wall coaching? What are you talking about? And they're up against the wall, listening to me give Katie Day a bunch of shit every day. And that's their wall coaching. They've got a little up there listening, trying to get a few nuggets. I got to be honest, Steve, I'm not as hard on them as they are. And here's why. I always feel like, the people that we pay attention to, the people that we're the toughest on, we see the potential. We see the things that they're missing. It's so easy to be a third party observer. As a coach, you can see what they're doing wrong and you can help them out. And to me, I became a coach when I looked around one day and I was like, well, I think I've outlived everybody. I think I know more than anybody else in this business. Now it's time to help a few people out. So that's amazing. How I got involved with Tom when I finally realized I had the confidence to take it up a notch, let's say.
Amazing. Well, you know what? I don't want to take up too much of your time, Coach, because I know Katie is just relishing in the opportunity.
We're halfway there. She hasn't even asked a question yet.
So, Katie, I'll let you go at it.
Steve always has a question and then like 7 follow-up questions.
Right.
So I never want to knock him off of the path that he's on until I steer him back to the path that we originally started on.
Tell me more.
It's coaching. I love it.
Let's get a little tactical, right? So, obviously you were an agent, you worked in a lot of different capacities, on a team, not on a team, things like that. What was the catalyst, or what was the moment where you realized having your own brokerage was something that you wanted?
All right. The truth of the matter is my stepfather, little inside information here. My stepfather, Ronnie Vaughn, who owe a lot to my success, was best friends with Tom's dad, Mike Ferry. I mean, they were, and they still are best friends. So I was in a unique situation. So I got to hang out and become friends with Bill and Tom, but at the same time had my broker, my stepfather, and Mike be hard on me. And I realized, and also another thing is my dad, who I'm very close with that lives nearby here, he's a basketball coach. So I gotta be honest, my whole life, I've learned, find out what the best does, follow what they do, and you will become the best. Find out what the best do, what they say, what's their approach, what's their system, and just do what they do. I see so many people trying to reinvent the wheel, or they've got a million different ideas. I think Tom has synthesized what the best do and then puts it out for everybody. So there's no research, there's no testing and checking. It works. And so I just kind of hear what the best do, and here's what they do, and hold them accountable to their goals. I don't even know what your question was.
I asked what your favorite color was, and you answered with not reinventing the wheel. So totally fine there, Coach.
Right.
No, I mean, I think that's so true. And I think that people think that there's some secret sauce, or that it's rocket science, right? And they're like, oh, well, if I do this, or I try this, or this is a new thing or a new product or software, that I'm going to do better than everyone else. And it's really, something that I think as, an organization, everyone's been focusing on this year, is the basics.
So watch this. If anybody's seen me, there's numerous times that I talk about Stephen Kim and his consistency around videos and his DMs. And then I talk about what Katie does, who I always say is one of the most coachable people I've ever been around. I will give her an idea, and within 5 minutes, she's like, here's the website. I've already done it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
We haven't even finished the call, but we got to realize that most top agents are no different than the other agents. What I see, the one difference is they have a plan, they stick to the plan, they are coachable, and they just, like you said, Katie, is just figure out what they do and follow it. But it's when I talk about you, Stephen, and I say, the hard thing is doing it consistently. Everybody can shoot 5 videos in a week. Everybody can time block it and ready to put it out, but can you do it 90 days later? Can you do it a year later? And that's where the growth is being, if we just became like the turtle in the race, slow and steady, that's what wins in this business. Would you all agree?
Right. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. The key is consistency, right? It goes back to 21 days to build the habit, 90 days to build the lifestyle. Most people can get to the 21 days. Yeah. It's like anything, going to the gym, a new diet, whatever the case may be. You can do it for 3 weeks. 3 months, though, is a different story.
That's a different story.
That's the precipice. You can get to 90 days and you're pretty golden. You're on your way in terms of that lifestyle change. So I love that.
Coach. Real quick. Coach, wait a minute. The reason I started I just remember the message. For my parents, unfortunately, my stepfather and my mom got divorced. So guess what? I had to start a company. Okay. So I finally was at a point where I honestly, like, this is truthful, is I really gained the confidence at like 38 or in my 40s where I was like, I can do this. I've ran a company that's made 1,000 transactions a year. I've managed 50 agents at a time who do an average of 24 deals. I finally gained the confidence to say, I can do this on my own. There's the answer to that question.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
Because I know you were on pins and needles waiting for that answer.
I was, I had it written down. I was like, I'm going to circle back to this later. So I appreciate you doing that for me. Steve, did you have a question you want to follow up with?
Well, I got like 100 questions. So, Coach, let me ask you, because I know a lot of the people that listen into and watch the podcast are coaching clients of Tom Ferry. Yes. Can I ask you being at the level of trainer, mentor, super coach, everything, when you come across a client who comes to you and says, Coach, I know I'm not coachable, but I know there's the desire to learn. Okay. How do you get someone to get out of that mindset to be like, I'm not coachable, but we all know deep down inside, everyone's coachable. It just, they haven't been shown the proper path.
I gotta be honest. Half my clients start off that way, where they're like, I'm really not that coachable, but that's why I joined coaching. So to me, I think it always goes back to, what is their why? Why are they doing this? And many times it's that feeling. I want to know that feeling that gets them going, that gets them charged up. Why are they really doing this? And why do I want to know that? Because there's going to be a point where I'm like, all right, hey, Steven, did you make your calls this week? No, I didn't make your calls. But you said you were doing this for your family. How does that feel? You didn't make any calls. You didn't make any money. Like, and I have so many people like, I wish I could talk to you like every day or 5 minutes a day, whatever. I go, no, you've got to. I think it starts with self-discipline. When where's that point where you're picking up the phone or you're shooting that video or doing something on social media, or actually probably doing something that we don't necessarily want to do. You've got to go back to, I'm doing this for whatever your why is. Whatever your why is, that will motivate you. That will get you going. Okay?
Bang on. Now, what happens, Coach, if like you find people who struggle with their why? Like, I know this is like, being a coach and being a client. Some people don't really know like what their why is. Like, I'm sure you've come across people, not even in your clients, but even within the brokerage and colleagues, like, who have a tough time finding their why.
I think sometimes, I've had clients, their why was not money. And many times coaches come to this like, it's got to be about the money or making this money. You need to find, like, do you want to make enough to give it all away? Do you want to start a nonprofit? Do you want to beat others? Are you competitive? I'm going to drill down and really find their why. If they can't really come up with it, like, come on, why do we get a license? Why did you wake up? Why did you wake up today? Why are we on this call? Let's just even breaking it down to the most simple, whatever that is. I've had clients that have been in business 30 years. They've never been in coaching before. And they get in and they just say, I'm winging it at a high level. And then, right, that's how we feel all day long, But they say, I'm winging it at a high level. And then I go, okay, could you talk to 5 past clients or friends this week? Could you make 5 calls? Like, and then I'm just holding them to that, and I'm not going to forget on the next call.
Yeah.
Did we talk to your 5 clients. Or most agents struggle with their CRM or keeping their database organized. So it's not like I think agents are, I need to work on my CRM. It's a CRM is a living, breathing organism that you're taking and adding to. So we're going to work on little things that will add up. So I think you can just keep asking questions to determine their real why at the end of the day. And it's not always money.
Love it. Love it. Super Coach, let's get a little bit more tactical. This question we asked every single one of our guests is, what's the one piece of advice you would give to a brand new agent? And to piggyback onto that question is, what would be the one piece of advice you would give to an agent maybe 10 years into the business? So let's start. First year into the business, what's the one piece of advice that you would give to a brand new agent coming right out of the gate?
I would, I can't give one piece of advice. I'll give you like 10 pieces of advice. Okay, so one piece of advice, you need to know two things backwards and forwards. Mm-hmm. You need to know how to do your buyer presentation, and you need to know how to do your seller presentation backwards and forwards.
Wow. Okay.
The best advice and the best training I ever gotten, and I've probably mentioned it to Katie a few times, is my stepfather, the first day as my broker, said, here's a listing agreement. I want you to read it. And tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, you're going to explain it to me. See you tomorrow. Guess what I had to learn that whole day? Yeah. I had to go through that, and I had to answer questions. I had to highlight, and then I had to explain it to, I mean, this was like, it was cramming everything in one day. Best experience ever, because I learned how to explain it, and then he guided me on what to say, or try this, or here's what this really means. And I don't think that most agents spend the time to, there's some agents that don't even read contracts. They don't even know what they say. But the idea is, if you can get down your buyer presentation, and if you can get down your seller presentation, you're halfway there in this business. And then the next advice I would give is, try, whenever I didn't have a lot going on, I would always set appointments, like an old friend that I haven't talked to in a while. Just set all these like little 5 or 10 minutes appointment, like coffee meetings or lunch meetings or even Zoom calls or tennis meetings or golf or whatever. Get involved, because real estate is a people business. At the end of the day, we're selling ourselves. So that would be my piece of advice for an agent that's brand new. And then you said a 10-year veteran, where are they in 10 years?
Let's say they're kind of plateauing, let's just say. They're good, they're comfortable, they know they'd like to level up because, things are very different over the course of what's happened in the past 10 years. Okay. What might be the advice you'd give to that type of agent? Kind of plateauing?
Change. I think there's different levels in our business, and you've got to, maybe they've plateaued because they've reached where they thought they would get. And so then they need to readjust. Do they need to build their team? Do they need to add on another buyer's agent or have an ISA, or just change your goals and think where you want to be in 5 years.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. I coach Carolyn Young. Many of y'all may have heard the story. Is she came into my schedule and she was making $400,000 a year. Not a bad place to plateau for a 10-year period.
Yeah.
All right. We'd all take that. But as a coach, what I found in her, she was very competitive. And I was like, I know you can't talk to 25 expireds this week. That's how it all started, was basically giving her a goal of something that she had never really done before. Think about that.
Yeah.
So she was living off her past clients and sales and marketing, but she wasn't stretching herself. And then I gave her a challenge, and then it became a competition. Then it became, Tom Toole may not know this, but then she was like, I'm going after Tom Toole. I'm going to get on stage. And she went from 400 to 1.2 to 1.8. Wow. She's on track to do $3 million this year in 4 or 5 years. So to me, it's just trying something, expanding. The growth is in your business. The growth is in what you're avoiding. The growth is in what you're avoiding, or maybe what you fear.
Oh, I got to write that down.
But it's comfortable here.
Right. And we love being comfortable, right, Katie? I mean, it's just like we get adjust. We don't like change. Nobody likes change.
Yeah.
But change, that's one thing, that I've always learned from Tom. That guy is always changing. He is always learning, growing, changing, pushing buttons, learning more, figuring out things, and it makes everyone else grow and get better. So you've got to do the same. We can't stop.
I love that. Like I wrote that down. Growth isn't what you're avoiding, because we always talk about choice. The choices we choose on a day-to-day, in our day-to-day is really comes down to two things. Either we're going to choose to go towards pleasure, or we're going to choose to do something to avoid pain. Right?
And
which I love.
Most people are avoiding the pain.
Exactly.
And the pain is making the calls or shooting the videos consistently. It's the boring stuff is the pain. And so they're going to do what they like to do. But doing what you like to do doesn't always get you what you want.
Coach, can I ask, because there's this huge shift, I shouldn't say right now, but over the course of maybe the past few years, this huge shift towards teams in real estate. Yeah. Teams. You running a successful brokerage, having lots of experience. Right. What would you say would be the number one thing to consider before even contemplating wanting to build a team?
I think I see the old joke in the industry used to be, two great agents would form a team, and that team would become an average agent. Because two great agents come together and they become an average agent because, hey, Steven, I thought you were going to do this. Hey, I thought you were going to make a call. It's like, it's just make sure that you're losing money. Make sure that you're generating enough business that I just don't have the time. I can't get to all these Zillow leads, or I can't get to the amount. Like if you know that feeling when you're taking on too much. To me, that's the time that you either add an admin or add a buyer's agent when you've got too much going on. I see some teams, they start a team because everybody's starting a team, but they're not generating enough to keep that team member reaching their goals or keeping them busy. But I know that's not the case with y'all. So, but that is where I see that most teams, there's a big challenge, because then what happens is the buyer's agent, they're just coming and going, and you don't want that either, so make sure you've got enough business coming in the door.
So generally speaking, then what would be your first hire in starting a team? I asked Devin Tryon, who, many know Devin out in Hawaii. And I said, if you had $1,000 and that's all you had, what would you do? He goes, you need to do what I was doing. I go, what'd you do? He goes, I hired a part-time admin, but listen to her job was, she looked at him, she'd walk in at 8 or 8:30, she'd pull the expireds and hand it to Devin, and then look at him and go, get on the phone. And just stand there. And he goes, that was the best $1,000 I started the business off that way, paying someone to just say, I mean, that's accountability when somebody is like, hey, Katie, get on imagine if you had to look at me all day long and go, hey, get on the phone, make a call, set an appointment. I made my calls today with Adriana, Coach.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear that. She told me about that. But to me, it would be hiring that admin to at least give you some more free time to then put it into calling expireds or FSBOs or sellers, or just give you some more time in this business. And then at some point, you're going to start adding buyer's agents, and then the real growth in the team where it just goes bananas is when you just add buyer's agents that are successful.
Yeah, I would agree. Amazing. Coach, share with everyone, what do you like to do in your free time? We got a couple of minutes left on the podcast. You know, you take your mentor hat off, your coach hat off, like everything. Like, who is Jeff Mays when he's not real estating?
I like to play guitar, and I paint a lot, and I love photography. I've got a 19-year-old son, and I love spending time with him. He's down in Fort Worth, down in Texas. He definitely is moving to Texas, may not come back, but I like being on the water. I like spending time with my family. We're going to a baseball game tonight, and I love music. And I'm a child of the 80s. I think the 80s were the best decade ever. I don't care what anybody says, but I love 80s music. I love documentaries. I love taking pictures. And I just, again, as weird as it sounds, I love spending time with real estate agents.
That sounds
so
real
weird.
Weird.
We know that,
it still goes back to that in the beginning. So
I love it. Well, Katie, we'll hit you off with our last question.
Well, I've got a follow-up question.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So, top concert you've ever been to, or if you never saw them, what would be your one, like, would love to see this band when they were in their prime?
I saw the Rolling Stones front row in Washington, D.C. at FedEx Field. That was amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
I saw Van Halen on the Diver Down tour in 1982. And I saw the Police on the Synchronicity tour.
No way.
Those are big highlights. Yeah. I love all those. The person that I wish I'd seen, I love that question, is I wish I'd seen Prince. I wish I'd seen George Michael. He puts on an amazing show. I wish I'd seen, I was going to say Madonna. There may be a chance that we could still see Madonna, but those would be my top 2 or 3 wish list to see.
Wow.
I like it.
I'm totally there with you on Prince.
Who would y'all want to see? Who would you want to see?
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I know Bruce. I've seen a couple of his shows. I've probably seen 10. I've seen 10 of Bruce Springsteen shows.
Yeah, hands down. Definitely want to see
amazing.
him. Yeah, definitely.
That is like 4 hours of just just bowing down to Bruce. It is an amazing show, and I will tell you this: I was kind of a good fan, but when you see him live, you're like, I love every song.
Yeah,
because live, it's even better.
Yeah,
when it's live. So
that's what I'd
like to see, Katie.
Fleetwood Mac is high on my list, and I know they did a tour, but I didn't get to go.
You're going to be able to see. They're going to do something here in the next 6 to 9 months. You're going to be able to see them again.
I would love that. I would definitely spend more money than I should on that. So
they're awesome. Yeah. They're really good.
Amazing.
Cool. Well, we do have one final question. Steve, do you want to ask it?
So, Super Coach, this is the question of all questions.
It stumps a lot of people.
So be prepared. Coach, it is your last meal on earth.
Yes.
What is it, or where are you going for it?
It is surf and turf. I love lobster, and I don't eat steak that much, but I would probably eat surf and turf. And where would I do it? I would love to do it in somewhere down in Florida in the Keys or a Caribbean island, and just be there with all my friends.
Awesome.
What would y'all want to do? What do you like?
Katie?
Mine would probably be a really, really good steak. Steak is probably one of my favorite foods. I could eat it every day if it weren't for my trainer and my husband.
Right.
Both say I shouldn't eat it every day. So, steak, good steak.
I'm the same way. I love steak, but then I'm like, I shouldn't be eating steak. It's not good.
Turkey just doesn't taste as good though.
Turkey doesn't, but turkey. I mean, you're in Texas. I mean, there's some good steak down there.
Yeah.
How about you, Steven?
A salad, Coach. No, I'm totally kidding. It is. There is a place in Texas, Franklin's. They have the world's best brisket, smoked brisket.
Franklin, where is it located at?
I think it's outside of Dallas, but it is
Austin.
Oh, Austin, sorry.
Oh,
but this Franklin's is, I've never had it. I've only heard of it, but I'm a huge fan of good brisket. And this guy, they're doing it. They're the number one in the world. And
we can eat some barbecue when you come to town.
Okay.
We've got Dallas and Houston in the book.
Wait a minute. You haven't eaten there and you're like, it's the number one place in the world.
You know what it is? It's because like I'm such a fan of brisket. Like I study like other like people, like other like barbecue artists. Like everyone talks about Franklin's. The way that he does it, he sources his meat, everything.
Right.
So that's why it's Franklin's for me. Franklin's for me.
We'll take you on a barbecue tour when you get down here,
Steve.
That.
Yeah.
For Summit.
Yeah, that'd be good. Hey, this is awesome. I appreciate this. I'm glad to be on the hot seat today. Was this good?
You did a great job, Super Coach. Great job.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All our real estate agents out there, Katie hears this all the time. Focus on one thing a day, one appointment a day. If you wake up every day, I don't care what you do, what your schedule's like. If you just focus on getting one appointment a day, that's 5 days a week. That's 20 appointments in a month. You'll have more business than you can handle, and you'll reach your goals and dreams by just focusing on one appointment a day. You can do it.
You're awesome, Coach. You're awesome.
Right.
You're
Appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. Don't stop.
Thanks so much, Super Coach. Thanks for your time. We appreciate
Katie,
you so much.
What's your goal again this month?
Well, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but the goal for May is 35 contracts.
How about you, Steven?
20 contracts, Coach.
20. There we go. That's amazing. Let's do it. Y'all can do it.
I love how this.
I told you.
It's turned back on us.
I had a little coaching you there. All right. 50 deals is what I just heard between the two of y'all.
Done.
All right. Do it. All right. Y'all have a great one.
Coach.
Make it happen. Thanks. See ya.